Welcome into the Cover 3. My name is Sterling Bennett. Alongside me is Aaron from 49ers First Takes, and down below is Dre from Dre Area Sports. And we have a jam-packed, loaded show for you today, discussing Robert Saleh's future, some NFC playoff quarterback rankings. Where does Brock Purdy fit in the playoff quarterback tier ranker? And there is some beef. Juwan Jennings versus Shelby Harris. And now George Pickens and Richard Sherman are out there throwing haymakers on Twitter and social media after yesterday's Thursday night football game between the Detroit Lions and the Dallas Cowboys. But Aaron, Dre, how we doing today on a lovely bye-week Friday for the San Francisco 49ers?
No stress weekend. Get to watch football and not care. Eat food. I get so much agita, which in Italian means like acid reflux. Watching 49ers. I was watching and eating pizza the other day, and it was the worst. It's like I gotta not eat when I watch games. It's bad for my health. So I can eat some food this weekend, eat some chicken wings, and not care. So
I love how the show started off with, Aaron, how you doing? I have acid reflux.
Typically, if I'm watching football and eating pizza, I'm usually enjoying myself. But yeah, I get what you mean. And I look, it's the bye week. For me, this is a depressing week because, look, as much as I want the Niners to get rest and get healthier and get ready for this, truly the second half of their season, I want to watch Niner football, and I can't do that. I have to go online and watch condensed game highlights of them versus the Browns and hope that Brock Purdy can continue to play the way he's been playing against the Browns. That's the Brock Purdy I want to see. That's the Brock Purdy that can lead us deeper into the playoffs and possibly the Super Bowl. We'll see.
It does seem like the momentum around the 49ers is maybe as positive as it has been all year long going into the bye week. They're a 9-win team. They are, if everything goes well, could be the number 2 seed by the end of the weekend, which would be astonishing for how far they've come and how many injuries they've had piled up over the season. Still no Nick Bosa, no Fred Warner. And it seems like every single game there is somebody else that goes down, but they are surviving and to some degree also thriving in the NFC West. But a lot of the reason why they've been able to hold things together is defensive coordinator Robert Saleh. And we all know that Saleh came back this offseason, and we love having him here. He's been able to have his star defensive players go down and just plug and play guys in there. Well, it hasn't been perfect. They've been able to win a lot of football games because of his coaching prowess. And unfortunately, every offseason for the 49ers is not that easy because you have to wonder, will you lose one of your top-tier coaches? Now, Kyle Shanahan's safe and secure. We know this, but Robert Saleh's future is certainly up in the air for the San Francisco 49ers. And we have a report by Josina Anderson when she's not glazing Shitter Sanders. She is giving us some accurate reporting of Robert Saleh's future by telling us basically that 6 to 7 teams may have head coaching openings, and almost all of them have mentioned Saleh's name as a potential candidate for their head coaching job. Now, right now, there is not 6 or 7 head coach openings, but that could change at season's end. But when you hear just by rumors or just by what could be, Robert Saleh may leave San Francisco for a head coaching job. What is your first reaction to that, Aaron? Because mine is, please don't go. Please don't go. Please don't go.
Just
stay for a nightcap.
He hasn't played with a full deck yet.
Yeah.
He hasn't played with a full deck. He's played with a lot of pieces missing. And he's done what he could for what he has. And it's not all been pretty. I mean, go to the Rams game. You really didn't have any answers for that. But like, Niners they're down. I mean, their whole defensive line, front 7, has been completely ravaged by injuries. Linebackers, defensive line, and it's it's a cast of misfits. You know what I mean? Players that were never going to be starters on their best day, and now all of a sudden they've been thrust into that position. So I give them a ton of credit. The show I did on Monday with Mike, who I talked about how I call it a master class with Kyle and Lynch, or Kyle and Saleh have done this season. A complete master class with the situation with multiple offensive players being hurt, and then go to the defensive side where your number 1 pass rusher, your number 1 linebacker, and then one of your star pass rusher, high top 10 draft pick also out for the season. I got nothing but praise, and it sucks. But at the same time, if not an opening is there for him, you want him to take it because he deserves it. So to me, I just hope maybe there's not as many openings as we think, and that they go with more offensive-minded coaches. Keep him at least one more year. We can keep him one more year and have him, here with a full deck next year with maybe more draft picks and free agent signings. Then I'd be I feel a little bit better about him leaving, but he can't leave yet, can he?
Before Dre jumps in, I do want to remind you guys that if Saleh leaves after 1 year in San Francisco, the team gets no comp picks. So if he leaves, he's leaving high and dry and probably taking other guys with him. But Dre, when you think about Saleh leaving, what do you think about that?
I think it sucks. I want him to stay. I want him to be here for a long time. I want him to be our D coordinator the way Steve Spagnuolo is the Chiefs defensive coordinator. Yeah. Now, granted, they're both at different phases of their lives. Spagnuolo is a much older man, while Robert Saleh is much younger, buffer. I know he wants to do his own thing, but he's going to get paid very handsomely to stay here as our defensive coordinator, and rightfully so. But to me, the only way that he leaves for a head coaching job is if the Niners go far in the playoffs. If they get to the NFC title game or they get to the Super Bowl, he's probably gone. If we get ousted in the first round, he's probably back next season. Because the longer they go, the more they'll say, look at what Robert Saleh has done with this ragtag bunch of 49er defensive players. He's turned Cleveland Farrell into freaking Myles Garrett. And so I think that if we go far, he's gone, which is a detriment because we want to go far. We want to win a Super Bowl regardless of our injuries. But if we do, I think we're saying goodbye to Robert Saleh.
Yeah, I just wonder, we've talked about this throughout the season of Saleh can be really picky about where he goes. And knowing that he's going to get a ton of money staying in San Francisco no matter what. And, there are some vacancies that quite frankly are not very appealing to a lot of people. And if you're Saleh, who is a defensive head coach, you don't get a lot of second and third chances. So I think maybe being more picky, maybe being more particular in what place and destination you choose to go to might benefit him and also San Francisco in return. Looking at some of the vacancies right now, the Titans job really doesn't stick out to me as one he may want.
No.
The Bengals are interesting because if they fire Zach Taylor, because they already have Burrow and Chase and Higgins, that could make some sense knowing the offense is more taken care of. He doesn't have to go out there and draft a quarterback. And they just got a new D coordinator in the room, which goodbye. That's an easy plug and play for Saleh. I just don't know if he'd want to go to Cincinnati with a really awkward ownership group who doesn't really want to pay their players. He already dealt with that in New York with Woody Johnson. I don't think he's going to Cleveland and coaching Shitter Sanders and that mess. And that defense is already great. Maybe there is some form or fashion of if Saleh goes to Cleveland, Jim Schwartz comes to San Francisco, which wouldn't be too bad. But I don't see it happening. Saleh, even in Las Vegas, to me, doesn't make a lot of sense. And Pete Carroll may be a sitting duck, but still, I don't think the Giants will be smart to hire a defensive-minded head coach unless they're going to keep their offensive coordinator, Mike Kafka, which he's their interim head coach now. That's always an awkward situation because usually guys want to bring in their own dudes. I just don't see a place on paper, at least, where Saleh makes the most sense outside of Cincinnati. Now, maybe if the Bills fire McDermott, they don't go all the way, but they probably should find an offensive-minded head coach to help Josh Allen and company out there. But it just seems like the opportunities might be slim pickings for Saleh and company, which may be a good thing for him. But I want to steer the conversation more to this year and with Saleh's potential jettison as a head coach in the offseason, because when this happens, when the coaching carousel opens up and teams start firing their coaches, there is a concern as to maybe your DC, your OC get distracted in the midst of a playoff hunt. They're having interviews. DeMeco Ryans did this. Saleh did this. Yeah. McDaniel did this during the playoffs of okay, on Tuesday, I'm flying to Houston. On Saturday, I'm flying to Green Bay or whatever. But on Sunday, we're playing. Do you guys see that maybe being a hindrance or a speed bump for Saleh in what could be a very busy coaching carousel for him?
No, I don't. Because, I mean, look, we saw this with D'Amico Ryans. Everyone's like, oh, I don't know. He may not be ready. And then they went out there and they played really well. There's a reason why you have a whole slew of assistant coaches, because you put together your game plan, then you implement that through the assistant coaches in their individual departments. So, yeah, no, I don't think that will be an issue for the candidates if they get into the playoffs.
No, I don't see that as an issue. Not with Robert Saleh. He's too much of a professional, and he cares about and loves the game way too much. I mean, just watch him on the sideline during games. That's all you need to know. And like Dre said, they have a slew of assistant coaches. You know, we have I can't think of his name, who came over from Seattle. Gus Bradley in the building too. So I don't worry whatsoever. And like you said, like if you look at a lot of these jobs, they're just not sexy. Cincinnati is interesting because essentially, if he went to Cincinnati, he could just say like, okay, the offense is covered. Let me just come in here and draft like defense, and let's start turning this thing around. Like that would be an interesting place. But like you said, like they don't pay players. They seem like a cheap organization. So, and then if you look, like you said, the Titans are a mess. I mean, who wants to go to the Raiders? I mean, it's just, in a way, it's like you're praying for there not to be that many openings, and have the openings be the ones you mentioned, and then be like, okay, we got him for another year at least. Because Dre knows this, and you know this. We haven't had any stability since 2019 when it comes to coaches. And it's really
2020 was the last year they've had back-to-back DCs, right? Or 21-22,
something like that.
21-22, I think. Yeah.
Have like guys that are like, I tell my brother, I was like, see that dude? He sucks as a head coach, but as a D coordinator, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like some guys are just meant to be coordinators. My brother thinks Saleh is not head coach material. He thinks that Saleh is a defensive coordinator, and that's it. And I see that myself. I don't see him. He's a leader of men for sure, but I don't know, man. Like it's okay if you like Kyle doesn't really know defense. So that's why he likes to bring in people with a ton of experience. Kyle is an offensive coach. He's very involved in the offensive game plan.
Unless Nick Sorensen's out there coaching for him, then he's always on the defensive coaching meetings.
Where's my drop? Why did you say that name? Look, when you look at the teams that are possibly looking to replace their head coach, you're talking about the Browns, the Raiders, the Atlanta Falcons, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, you have teams like the Titans. And
Pittsburgh's going to fire Mike Tomlin.
There's a lot of talk about it. But then there's also teams like the Arizona Cardinals. They could move off of Jonathan Gannon. He's not a lock to stay in there. I still think
his quarterback's coming back either.
I know. If there was a more stable quarterback in Arizona, I think that maybe he might go there because they have a lot of assets on defense.
Yeah.
So he can use those guys and retool the defense. He's got Will Johnson, Walter Nolan. I don't know if Calais Campbell's going to be there next year, but
when he's 45 years old.
Yeah, Josh Sweat. So he's got a lot of guys on there that he could be like, hey, I can use those guys. If we had them on this team, they'd be phenomenal. So I don't see the Raiders because there's too much to do there.
Yeah,
I just don't think that Robert Saleh wants to go somewhere where he has to rebuild the team from the ground up. And I think that's what you're looking at. With teams like the Raiders, a little bit with Atlanta. You got Bijan Robinson, but then you got Michael Penix as your quarterback. I don't know if that's the answer.
Maybe he might not play next year.
But Michael Penix, if he's your starter, he might get you fired just because of his bad decision making. The Steelers, they got a lot of things going on, but like Aaron Rodgers is probably gone. Who knows? A lot of ups and downs. The East Coast media, do you want to go over there? I don't know. So it just depends on what he wants to do. And right now, everybody loves him here. But what was that? Oh, it's your phone.
My phone. Yeah, sorry.
The Cleveland Browns are another team that I could see him going because they have a stellar defense. They have Myles Garrett. They have a lot of guys on defense that he could be like, dude, I can make this defense even better than what I'm seeing right now. And it's just offensively, there's such a disaster you have to ask yourself, like, if you're Robert Saleh, do you want to go and take on these massive challenges of rebuilding these teams? The one team I think would be a solid yes from him if you got the interview and was offered the job is the team that Sterling mentioned weeks ago, which is if the Buffalo Bills fire Doug McDermott. Is it Doug McDermott?
Sean
McDermott. I think Doug McDermott's an actor.
Dude, no, it was an NBA player for the Bulls and the Kings.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But if McDermott gets fired from the Bills, I could see Saleh being like, yeah, dude, I'll take it. You still got Joe Brady there as offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
So to me,
you have Josh Allen as your quarterback.
Exactly. And to me, that would be a case where he goes, okay, I'm going to come here. I'm going to retool the defense, get them where I need to be at, and let Josh Allen do his thing on offense with Joe Brady making the calls. This would work. And to me, and he's right next to New York. So he'd be like, hey guys, I'm over here now. This is great. So that's the one location I think that Robert Saleh would leave the Niners to go to. It would be the Buffalo Bills.
Can I tell you, I don't think McDaniel's getting fired.
I don't think so either. And my brother's really mad about that.
I don't know why he's not getting fired. Are you talking about McDaniel?
They've been playing better actually every recent.
They have
maybe doesn't change much.
They have a really talent. They have a lot of talent on defense.
I bet.
They have a lot of talent on defense. They're a pretty good defensive team.
It's just their GM was terrible. Like terrible.
He's horrible.
He needed to go, dude. That guy was like a fossil.
Chris Greer. But can I tell you my two concerns of Saleh leaving?
Did you know that Chris Greer has a brother of the last name Greer, obviously, and he's a general manager. Shocking. He's a general manager in the NHL, I want to say.
Sharks? Is it the Sharks GM?
Yeah, it's the Sharks GM.
Okay, yeah.
It's Larry brought that up on one of his streams, and I thought, yeah, when was the last time you heard of brothers that are both GMs in two different sports?
That's two different sports? I don't know, but the Giants manager, well, the Manasian brothers, Giants and Angels in the MLB, but
two different sports is like,
yeah, what? I can't think of that. That's crazy.
Two different sports.
Sports.
There are two things that do worry me about Saleh potentially leaving. He did say that he's focused on this season. He did say that, like, this is the Niners are my focus right now. I love being here. So he may not leave, but for the sake of conversation, the two things that concern me is that, one, the impact it has on young guys playing in their first defensive system. San Francisco brought in 11 new rookies. 7 of them were on defense. And not to say they can't transition in year 2 or anything like that. And there would be some continuity. I think Gus Bradley would probably slide into the defensive coordinator role, or KJ Wright would maybe, and they wouldn't change too much. Shanahan doesn't like doing that on defense. But I do worry about the liveliness of Saleh on the sideline, him and his presence in meetings and all that stuff. However, I think my bigger concern is actually who he would take away with him, and that is Brant Boyer. I think he would take Brant Boyer with him, and I think this team would go from having what looks like the best coach team in all the league right now to being back to Kyle and a bunch of guys you're hoping and banking on can do some work as well. And, don't forget, Saleh brought Boyer over from the Jets with him. I think wherever he goes, Boyer's going too, and you're not losing what seems to be the best defensive coordinator in football. However, I think that you lose Boyer as well. You're losing what seems to be one of the best special teams unit in football.
It's just I think with the amount of money that they would pay Robert Saleh, he could be more selective about where he goes, and if he wants to go anywhere, he could be like, you know what, I'm just going to stay here. I'm fine. I don't know where his family resides. I don't know if they moved here with him, but that is a factor though. If he leaves, he's taking Brant Boyer with him, and we saw how good Brant Boyer was, how he's been with the Niners, and so it'd be tough to lose him. That'd be tough to find a new D coordinator, to find a new special teams coordinator, and not to mention too, what are the odds that Gus Bradley doesn't follow him over there? You can say, well, Gus Bradley, we'll give you the defensive coordinator job. That's cool, but I'm just gonna stick with Saleh and go wherever he goes. Who knows? You never know what's going to happen. But I just hope that he sticks around for at least one more season. But I mean, look, we knew going into the season he was probably only going to be here for 1 year, and that was the roll of the dice that the Niners took by waiting on him and not going for. Who was out there? Matt Eberflus and all, Brandon Staley's and all these guys.
I would have liked Dennis Allen, I will say.
Dennis Allen.
He's doing a darn good job in Chicago this year.
Yeah, so, there's a lot of things that could have happened. But, I mean, I'm looking at all these lists of all these coaching candidates, and Robert Saleh's not even on the lists. I saw one that was 25 coaches, and he was not one of them, which is I find crazy. But still, if the Niners make it to the NFC title game, his name will be circulating like crazy. Like, look what Saleh has done. They got to the NFC title game with basically all the injuries. This is insane. This guy deserves, what's the award for the coordinator? Assistant coach of the year? Yeah. Whatever it is. He deserves that. Absolutely.
I was going to say.
It's happening a lot. It happened last time we streamed. You're like, I forgot.
I'm
it's the acid reflux.
It's the acid reflux. It's the old age. It's the wear and tear on the brain.
No, I was going to say that I think. Do you think there is a perception from Niner fans that maybe Saleh is more sought after than what that actually is the case? I mean, I know Josina Anderson came out with a story and everything, but what is the real thought on Robert Saleh from around the league? Do they look at him as this like head coach material guy, or has he already kind of proven that he's better as a coordinator? Because sometimes I feel like as 49er fans, we talk people up, whether it's players or coaches, about how great they are. Like I say, a player in the Niners system, he's great, but yet he goes into another system and he's not as productive. I feel like sometimes you do that with coaches as well. Like Kyle Shanahan is great regardless. And I think Brent Boyer, same. But like Robert Saleh, is he that great? Would he be that great as a head coach? Does the NFL and a lot of the people in higher up positions think this? Or is this just what 49er fans put out there because they're so amazed that he's been able to come in and take a ragtag bunch of depth guys and have the Niners in a position to be a playoff team?
That's a good question. And I think it helps put things into perspective. Because for all we know, most of the league might view Robert Saleh like they view Jim Schwartz, where they're like, yeah, the guy's a good defensive coach. Dennis Allen. No one's offering Dennis Allen a head coaching job. No one's offering Schwartz a head coaching job.
What's up, Mike?
So that's where it's kind of like, well, maybe we're kind of overdoing it. Like, oh, he's going to be highly sought after. Maybe not.
Well, I think that's why it's so particular because, like, we mentioned the Browns a lot so far today, and, like, I don't think the Browns want to get rid of Jim Schwartz. They want an offensive-minded guy to come in there and help get them a quarterback and help figure things out offensively because they have the defense locked down. It's the second best group in all football. Like that unit is fine.
They're so good.
Like, why would you go hire another defensive head coach when you're like, the defense is great, the offense sucks? That's the problem, amongst other reasons. Like Tennessee, to me, you want to pair your young, what will be your second year quarterback with an offensive guru. Yep. Like, that to me makes sense. That to me also takes Saleh off of Cleveland and Tennessee's board. Again, Cincinnati makes a lot more sense for Saleh. The Bills make sense if they don't go to the Super Bowl because that defense actually is terrible. The Raiders, to me, it's like, okay, you want to bring in another head coach? You're already paying two of them. You fired Chip Kelly. You're still paying that guy. He was the highest paid coordinator in football over Saleh. I don't think you want to do that. You have a bridge quarterback in this awkward kind of like weird situation where you probably are going to tear things down more than you build it up. I don't think Saleh wants to do that. The Vikings aren't firing Kevin O'Connell. That doesn't make sense. The Saints have Kellen Moore, excuse me. He's in going to be
Clemens.
Yeah, sorry, Jets old quarterback. Atlanta might make some sense, but like their GM is worse than their coaching is. Their GM went and got Pitts and Drake London and
Cleo Clemens.
Yeah.
Remember that guy?
But yes, but they also got Penix, and it's like, oh God, like, what are you doing? It's like, and I don't think Robert Saleh wants to have to coach against McDonald, Shanahan, and McVay for 6 times a year. Like, I really think it comes down to 2 places, and I don't think Robert Saleh is going to have this big, massive, expansive, coaching interview process. It'll be 1 or 2 teams. And I could easily see the Bengals retaining Zach Taylor, knowing Joe Burrow got hurt this year, and then saying, well, year 2 of the defensive coordinator, Zach Taylor's fine. He got us to a Super Bowl, and we'll see there. It's like Saleh may have one real destination, and that could be Bills. And that also may not be an opening if they go all the way this year.
Bills are an interesting option because he would have full autonomy on that defense. Yeah. I think they would give him autonomy to draft, which I think he's got say what you want about how guys have been up and down this year, but I think Saleh had to have input in this draft.
Oh,
specifically,
he made their first 5 picks.
Okay, yeah, this was Saleh's draft, and here and there, they've also it's been like injuries everywhere. So like, if he goes somewhere, he'd have to be like, okay, the offense is already good. This team really is a defense away from being, whether it's Buffalo being a Super Bowl team or deep playoff run. Like, if he has to go to a team where he has to rebuild everything, he's not the guy for that. That's not what he does. I'm sorry. And I love Saleh as a defense coordinator. I'm so happy. Like, when we bitched and complained about this season, about all things going wrong, I had to keep reminding myself, and you used to say it in like our DM chats, Sterling, but at least we got Saleh. Does that make you feel better? And I'm like, it does. Like, I forgot, because we were at so many points this season. I'm like, I want to jump off the bridge. And you're like, but we have Saleh. And I'm like, oh yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you guys, if you're Robert Saleh, right? I'm going to list some teams. I want you guys to say yes or no. Okay. And no stipulations, just straight up. Would you go to the Las Vegas Raiders?
No.
Would you go to the Atlanta Falcons?
No.
If you're Robert Saleh. Raheem Morris is just like
a get a DM with me?
Just straight up. No stipulations. No. Okay.
Who's your quarterback, though, if you're going there?
The Arizona Cardinals.
No, I'm not going. No.
Aaron? They don't have a quarterback either, probably after this year.
Cleveland Browns.
No.
Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got a lot on offense.
Yeah.
They do.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
No.
He would have no quarterback again going into next year. He would have to start that crap over again. So no.
It's the San Francisco 49ers to stay as their defensive coordinator.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 1,000 times yes. And there you have it. So, I mean, look, he might go to these interviews and talk to these teams, but at the end of the day, it's like, do you really want to go to some of these organizations?
Or live in California?
Well, you also got to think, too, like, Saleh's leaving what I think is potentially the most stable position for him in all of football, right? He's coached here before. He has a luxury, so much respect in the building. He has a great relationship with Kyle and Jed and John Lynch. He knows the offense is taken care of. I know the guys are hurt now, but you're thinking about this. They're 9-4 right now. They can go to the playoffs, probably will. They may beat a team, who knows? But he's also walking into a defense next season that's still going to have Fred Warner, a returning Nick Bosa, Micah Williams, Alfred Collins, the entire draft class in year number 2. Lenore's locked up. Like, that defense is basically done. Like, they'll add some pieces for sure, but like, they don't got to pay anybody. Like, they're just going to add to it. And it's like, why would I want to leave that for some place that, let's say it is Atlanta, where it's like, I mean, yeah, that secondary sucks. That offense sucks. But I'm like, you would have to really coerce me into getting a job elsewhere. And he wants to be a head coach. I mean, I want to be a head coach. Why wouldn't anyone want to be a head coach, right? And so it's like, he'll certainly have these meetings and stuff, but like, I think it would take, like, not to say the Godfather offer for him, but I think it would take going into a place like Cincinnati, where like, okay, I have my quarterback, I have 2 elite receivers. Yeah, they got to fix the offensive line, but I know my defense will figure itself out just because I'm here. And that guy's not here anymore.
Right.
Or Buffalo, like, you're gonna have, like, really chalk it down to, he had to leave for 2 of the top 4 best quarterbacks in football when healthy. And that's crazy to say, but it's true. Like, you're leaving for Joe Burrow or Josh Allen. You're not leaving, like, you aren't leaving for Geno or Kirk Cousins or nobody, Aaron Rodgers. You're not doing that. I will say maybe if the Ravens fire John Harbaugh, that can make some sense with Lamar Jackson out there, but that is, again, a place that may not be open.
And he's not going to a team like the Titans. I mean, do you really want to?
No. Yeah.
Does Cam Ward give you the twinkles? I don't think so.
He's looked better than his stats would say, but no. I also wouldn't be shocked if Kubiak goes with Saleh as well. He took away the entire assistant coaching staff last time he left for the Jets. You may lose in some ways your offensive coordinator. You may lose so Saleh and then Boyer on top of that. You may lose 3 key coaches, which wouldn't be ideal, but
that would suck. If they won the Super Bowl, though, would you be okay? Let me put it this way: they're not going to, but you still would.
Don't say that. Papa J.
We have Saleh.
Hey, Papa J and Throwback are in the chat. Don't say that negative stuff. They're going to come down on you.
So in a perfect world, where fairies do exist and so do mermaids, and the 49ers win the Super Bowl.
Someone say fairies.
My man, what's his name in the past?
Where's Tommy at? Where's Tommy?
Yeah,
Tommy Huxley.
Tommy
Huxley.
Where's it at? Where's the comment? Here it is.
He calls us fairies. That's my dude, though. Anyways, no.
If they win the Super Bowl,
would you be okay moving on from coordinators? I wouldn't mind.
Yes, I would.
Get a Lombardi in this building after 32 years.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind. I'd be like, oh no, he's leaving. This sucks. But I'd be like, well, at least he won the Super Bowl, so it doesn't really. There is that.
It's like opportunity cost, right? It's like, okay,
look,
cost of doing business.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
We've lost there the last 3 times. If we get it this year, and with this team, this would be. I don't know. I almost feel like this would mean more than the other teams winning it, because this was so underdog of a team. They'd have to come together on defense so amazingly.
Yeah.
And the problem is, we won't really know until we face the Colts.
Yeah, but
the Seahawks.
Do you buy the Colts?
The Bears.
Daniel Jones has a 3D printed padding on his leg because his leg's fractured.
I know, but my point is that when you go against those 3 teams at the end of the year, you're going against more elite teams. You're going against better offenses. And so let's say we go against the Colts and we fall behind 21-0 right away. Then you're like, okay. And then you go against the Bears and they're up 31-17 going into the third quarter. I'm just saying, like they're scoring a lot of points and we can't really keep up. Then it's like, okay, we have a problem because they cannot defend better teams. But we haven't seen that yet. We've seen them do really well against the Cardinals, the Panthers, who I know certainly will argue the Panthers are a good team because they beat the Rams.
I never said that.
You never said that.
I never said that.
They played good so far against the Cardinals, the Panthers, and the Browns. All of those have bad offenses.
It's a great segue because I think it brings up what I think is a lot of people's gripes despite winning a lot of games recently. And this goes back to Aaron calling him Princess Pearsall during his injury charades, but there's been a lot of questions as to where is Ricky Pearsall. He had one big 3rd down catch against the Browns. It was a nice catch. It was a great play. Helped get them into field goal positioning to end the first half. And I would like to give him the benefit of the doubt that maybe he's working himself back into the offense, but it's been 3 games now. And the impact has been minimal. It's not what it was to begin the season where he looked like the next coming of a top receiver in the NFL. But since come back, I think he has 3 receptions? And one of them was for 0 yards against the Cardinals. Now they try to get him the football, but to Dre's point of the offense needing a spark or needing to play catch up or needing just some explosiveness by this offense and by its weapons. You love Kittle, you like McCaffrey, but they don't really have anything else. Like, what have you guys seen from Pearsall? What do you want to see from him as the season goes on? Because quite frankly, it's been nada, zip, zilch the last month or so from him.
It hasn't been much of anything. I think it's taken a few weeks to kind of get back in the swing of things, but he's got to be a bigger part of the offense because, essentially you're looking at your number 1 receiver going into next season. So You'd hope he'd make that progression. Kendrick Bourne's numbers have gone way down ever since Mac Jones was not the starter. I should say ever since Brock Purdy has been the starter. You haven't seen much of Kendrick Bourne at all. All you've seen really is just Juwan Jennings, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle. And rightfully so. I mean, those guys have been with the offense longer than
those are the guys that Purdy trusts.
Those are the guys that he trusts. He loves going to Juwan Jennings. So, I think that I just pulled Aaron.
Pulled an Aaron?
I just dropped my train of thought. But anyway.
I want to say Juwan Jennings has been really good the last 5 games.
Yes, he has.
He has been really good.
5 games, 4 touchdowns.
But I think that his success and also Kittle's success is because they have Pearsall even just running around out there.
Yes. Yeah. I'd agree.
Yeah. My thing with him is, last year we had a valid excuse. The man was shot in the chest.
Yeah.
And he was injured earlier this year. But I mean, like somebody said, he's going into year 3 next year. Like, when are we going to see a return on the investment? When's it going to happen?
But that's the thing is, like, we saw it at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. And then he got hurt.
Right. So it's like
maybe he's not healthy.
Some investment return, but not what you want to see as the whole year as a big picture.
It's just like you think, like, man, if we're going to beat good teams, we're going to need more than just 2 guys on offense pitching in. By the way, I have a new nickname for another player that's not on our team.
Not on our team.
Okay.
Crybaby Adams. I don't like Devontae Adams. I think he's a big giant crybaby. He crybabied his way out of the Raiders. He crybabied his way out of the Jets. He's a front runner. I don't like him. So anytime me and my brother talk about him, I call him Crybaby Adams. That's what he is.
Was there a new reasoning for that? Or you just
he's just
came out of nowhere.
Like all of a sudden he's with Matt Stafford and now he's happy. He's like, I hate guys.
I mean,
like
going from Aaron Rodgers and Jimmy Garoppolo will do that to you.
Going from Jimmy Garoppolo,
you play where where you're signed to play. Stop being that kind of guy. He's a team hopper. Anyways, but no, like I've been an apologist for a while with him, and now I'm like, somebody posted something the other day, and my first instinct is always to like defend guys. I call him Princess Pearsall, but I know he could play when he's healthy, but like he hasn't shown anything. And it's scary because
he did early on though, but lately he hasn't. And I think he missed so much time that like, I think he's not really gotten in a rhythm with Brock Purdy and with the rest of the offense. I don't know.
Yeah. Like that's something that I think we can't forget. Like playing wide receiver is all about timing and chemistry.
Well, and not only that, but like you don't want to be forcing things to Ricky Pearsall.
Right.
We saw Brock Purdy trying to force a touchdown to Ricky Pearsall, and it was an interception. We saw another pass. I want to say it was against Arizona that he tried to force the ball to Ricky Pearsall, and that nearly got picked off. So I think what it is that they are covering Pearsall very well. They know that he has explosive ability. I think when it comes to Jennings, teams know, okay, this guy is not an explosive receiver. If he gets it, he's not going to break one and take off for big chunk yardage. He's going to catch it and go down fairly quickly. So I think a lot of teams are playing the Niners to go to Pearsall and trying to take that away from them.
Yeah, like maybe it's just me liking Ricky out of college at Florida and buying into what the offense could look like, which it's a shame that we'll never see what the Ayuk, Pearsall receiving core would ever look like because one of those guys decides to throw a fit. But I do wonder like how much the injury affected Pearsall, not just because of health wise, but just simply being on the same page with Brock. I do think Ricky has looked good in his routes and getting open. I just think that whatever plays he's getting open as, he's not getting the ball, which that doesn't mean you're bad. Doesn't mean you're not producing. Maybe you are opening things up for Kittle and McCaffrey and Jennings. And like, don't forget those first 3 games of the season, like we were all like, holy crap, Pearsall looks insane. Now he's not, Jamar Chase. He's not, Justin Jefferson, but like the catch he made against the Cardinals to win that game, the big sideline catch, you were like, oh my God, Ricky. And when he went down, I think you saw the offense struggle because of it. Now, again, you want more from him. You want to see production from a guy you spent a first-round draft pick on. We all do, right? And I think that's kind of the big annoyance from the fans right now where it's like, okay, you're first-round draft pick, and now you're at the tail end of year 2, and there's built-in excuses and valid ones for a lot of reasons. But, like, I think down the stretch of the season against Tennessee, against the Colts, Dre, you mentioned playing better teams at the end of the year. It's like you play Seattle. Well, Ricky was the big reason you won that game in week number 1. You better show up or you're going to lose that game against that team. And so it's just like you have to be able to get Ricky the ball. He has to get open. And I think if this team wants to be considered as a legitimate Super Bowl contender, which they think they can get there because the NFC is wide open, and that opens a whole other conversation in regards to trade deadline stuff. But like Ricky's a big reason as to why they're going to be a viable contender if they are truly one, which maybe I'll toss things to Aaron now because one of his big questions, or maybe one of his big kind of qualms, if you will, with the team is like, okay, you're 9-4. You are half a game behind the Rams and the Seahawks for the division lead. You have a chance for the number 1 seed, which is just insane right now. You had the most wins in the entire conference, and you didn't do anything, at least on deadline day. And you got Keanu White. You made some really important trades in the offseason. Brian Robinson looks good. Sky Moore's been awesome. Like the trades you have made have been good trades, but you stood pat and didn't do anything. And I know, Aaron, I'll give you the floor, but it's there for the taking. And you think had they done more at the deadline, it could be theirs.
Well, you look at what is their Achilles heel right now, still, even with good games from Keon and Clelin Ferrell, and it's still the pass rush. It's their number one thing, their defensive line in general, right? And then John Lynch is like, well, it's open. It's wide open. You know, we're in it. And it's like, okay, if you believe that back at the trade deadline, if you really believe that this thing was wide open, why didn't you make a move to solidify our chances of actually doing something with that wide open NFC? Instead of saying, you know, we're not going to do anything to jeopardize the future. And I feel like I've jumped more to Dre's side on this, like this obsession with draft picks that are so hit or miss, especially with this franchise. Like this obsession, like, well, we're going to draft somebody next year. Like, yeah, but what about a proven player? Like, it's hard to deal with in my mind. Like, especially now that 9-4, if they could stop the Rams on a couple of possessions in a game and score points, like the Rams are my biggest worry because they can just score all the time.
Well, so like, let's look at, and I don't think you're wrong in the sense of imagine what this defense would look like if they had gotten somebody like that. That's true. Like,
and I'm not saying we had to go for the biggest name.
Right.
It could have been a Jalen Phillips.
Trey Hendrickson.
I was big on Quinn. I was big on Quinn and Williams.
He would have played if he
I was
came
big
here,
on Quinn and Williams
I'm back.
because I think he could have helped with the interior run defense.
Right.
As well
but are you trading that draft haul for Quinn and Williams?
Probably not.
Like that's kind of been our back and forth over the last month or so about this. Of like, okay,
or you kind of get me to jump back in reality. See, I understand that, and you're like,
well, it's just more about, okay, like let's make a deal. Okay, then for who? And is it worth the cost? Now, Jalen Phillips is, and then like, yeah, think back to the deadline. Like this team wasn't in the spot they are now. This team's won 3 games in a row.
Yeah,
like they were 6-4. They like they weren't, or actually they were 5-4, I think, or 5-4.
Anyway,
4-3, whatever.
They were in a much different situation.
Yes. They were not near the number 1 seed at the time. So it's like, like,
yeah, but neither was Dallas, and look what that's done. Well, I mean, except for last night,
right?
Now they're
but
done.
You are right. Like Dallas will be feared. Like Dallas will be feared next year, not this year now, right?
Yeah.
Because of that. But like the Niners, I just think like look at the people that got traded. Which one did you want instead, or which guys that didn't get traded do you or wish they made a deal for? Like, I love. Go ahead.
Trey Hendrickson would have been the only guy where you make a deal with,
right?
And then if it works out, you say, and now he's hurt, which would have been
he's
perfect.
Been hurt.
Like,
he was hurt then too.
He would have came back.
He's still out.
I mean, even Jalen Phillips, a guy that like I wish we could have got for a 3rd round pick, possibly.
Yeah,
I'm just throwing it out there.
Right.
But when you look at his
doable move too, and
right. But when you look at Phillips's numbers since coming to the Eagles, he's got 1 sack, 2 tackles for a loss, and 15 total tackles.
So not that good.
It's not that good. I mean, the first game they had him, he got the sack.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
And you think it's a psychological thing too, where the Niners, like that was one of the things I had a problem with was like this, and they even said it like people in the building. Now it could have been a total fabricated lie, but like people in the building were kind of like, oh, you don't believe in us? It's not worth making a move. I mean, Trent Williams talked about how he trusted John in the front office, and they did. It's not that they didn't do anything. They made moves prior to the deadline, but it was just, I guess, we're going at it like we're arguing with each other, and I'm talking about they don't really care about this year. They really care about next year. And then they don't make a move, and it kind of solidifies that point. Then all of a sudden they win a bunch of games, and now they're in the playoff hunt. And now it's like, God, I guess they should have made a move, but I guess we still don't believe in them anyway. So like which is it? Do we believe we're good enough to win a Super Bowl this year? Or is next year still the year? Like John's kind of like talking out both sides of his face. And it's kind of like aggravating to me, because my biggest gripe was you're operating your business as if 2026 is going to be this magical. That's the year, that 2026. We're gonna, and now we're in a position we could be a playoff team and make a deep run, and then it's like, oh, but now it's wide open and we could compete. Like, which is it? Is it both? I don't know.
It's just tough when you're down Nick Bosa, you're down Fred Warner, and you're down Michael Williams. Obviously, Michael Williams, they did not see that one coming, nor did they see the other ones coming either. But that was just what felt like a nail in the coffin when Michael went down. It was like, oh my God, because at least if we had Michael Williams, the Niners could argue, hey, look, whatever you guys do, you are not running the ball on us. Like, we're going to play elite run defense. But you lost him, so it was like, oh, crap. But then they went and got Cleveland Farrell, and so far his numbers have been really good, and he's got more sacks than Michael Williams, but they're both different players. What they've been able to get out of Cleve Farrell and Keon White, thank God they made the trade for Keon White. That was like, that was more of a trade of like, whoo, let's say we get, we got some more help, you guys, and then
we did something.
Michael went down, and it was like, oh God.
Well, let me ask you guys this, because a lot has been made as to who San Francisco could have got. And one of you mentioned Jalen Phillips. I'm pretty sure it was Aaron, but it may have been Dre. Like, looking at their stats comparatively, like in Philadelphia, Jalen Phillips has played 4 games. He has 18 pressures and 1 sack. He has 13 quarterback hurries, which is under the pressure kind of umbrella.
Yeah.
So 18 pressures, 1 sack, and a 69.8 pass rushing grade, which PFF, hit or miss at times, but we're going to use it for the exercise, and 8 run stops. Keon White, since being in San Francisco, playing less snaps, mind you, 9 pressures, so half the pressures, 1 more sack, and 3 run stops. Like, again, it's not as good because he's playing less snaps, but it's not like Keon White hasn't been maybe equally as impactful as Phillips has been, playing with a much worse defense around him. Like, if you gave Keon White, Yetur Gross-Matos, Nick Bosa, Michael, and Bryce Huff for the whole year, like, you may see Jalen Phillips-esque impact by a guy like Keon White. So it's like, and like, I don't want to praise Keon White and make him sound like he's an amazing addition, but he's been really good for them in a short couple games. And it's like, man, like, I don't know. Like, I just look at the guys who got traded, right? Which wasn't many of the guys defensively. Like, Keon White's better than Joe Tryon-Shoyinka was now with the Bears. He's been close to Jalen Phillips and company. Like, I can't think of anybody else that was big that got dealt. Like, he's kind of like, White's been one of the more impactful additions at the deadline, basically.
But then it's like, if you get down the line and you get a guy like Yetur Gross-Matos back, and then you have a guy that you trade for at the deadline, and you have Keon and Cleveland Farrell, then you essentially have a little bit of a rotation of some kind of bottom tier pass rushers, but you have a good amount of them where you can kind of turn yourself as maybe not a NASCAR package, but maybe like a Formula One package, where it's not quite as exciting.
Do you like, let's say if everyone's healthy, not Bosa and Michael because they're out for the season, but like if you walked into week 16, 17, 18 against the Colts, the Bears, Seahawks, maybe a playoff game with Bryce Huff, Yetur Gross-Matos, Keon White, Samuel Kawanu, Cleveland Farrell, and then you have the interior guys, like, it's not great by any means. It's probably the worst unit in the playoffs, but it's like, it's not like terrible.
It's not terrible. And like I said, this defense is, at this point, this defense is built to stop your running game, stop the interior run game with guys
and they
like
don't do that very well.
Well, guys like Jordan Elliott, Alfred Collins, C.J. West. This defense is built for that now, and so I think I would disagree. I think they do a pretty good job at that.
Well, they're ranked really well, but they're actually shit against the run.
Well,
they're giving up like 6. They were giving up like 6 yards a carry.
The Browns game, yeah, the Browns game withstanding against the Cardinals and against the Panthers and against really.
Yeah, we were up
Giants
in a
well.
couple of those teams, so they stopped running the ball. But when they were running the ball, they were effective.
Yeah,
you're right. Yeah,
but and then, again, it goes back to they can't get a pass rush. So to me, it feels like, hey, we have to do what we can to contain the run, because they cannot be like, hey, we're coming after you all, all 4 downs. They're not. So, look, we could talk about who they could have got at the deadline until we're blue in the face. But the fact of the matter is this: we got what we got, and there is no going back. There is nothing awaiting us other than Samo and Yatir Gross-Matos, who likely won't be back until the game against the Colts.
Don't you love it?
I know they're not coming back as the Titans because we don't need them for that game. But they are coming back for the Colts. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Essentially, they're like, hey, come back for the Colts. I don't want you to come back, hurt yourself, and then you're out again. And look, I have no faith that Yatir Gross-Matos hamstrings can hold up. I mean, those are like rubber bands right now.
He'll injure himself getting off the toilet. Like, damn it, they popped again.
I'm telling you, this guy's hamstrings are as bad as fucking Frank Ragnow. Like, they can't. You guys heard about Frank Ragnow? How he tried to come back and he had a torn hamstring. Like,
what are you doing? Bone.
I mean, like, what was he doing? They were like,
what were you doing?
He's in shape. He was doing a stretch and was like, ah! I don't know.
Playing with his kids.
He was running to the facility.
Since we know who's coming back, or at least we hope we know who's coming back, let's get to somebody that we know is not coming back. Brandon Ayuk. That saga it's
over.
I guess on the verge of being over. I know John Lynch kind of talked about, we're hopeful. I kind of hate to break it to John, but like, no one really cares. Like,
nobody wants him back because he doesn't want to be here.
Which I think is kind of the big thing of like, why would a guy come back that has no guaranteed money? And clearly there's a issue with him in the front office. Why would he want to play good for you, risk injury, and then maybe never play again? I don't know. I do want to get into something that really isn't about Brandon per se, but more about the report that I think it was David Lombardi, albeit I think we kind of already knew this about a year ago, that the Niners wanted George Pickens in return for Brandon Ayuk when the trade discussions were happening. Not know about you guys, but George Pickens looks damn good. But also, he's a head case, and I don't want him.
Like, they're all head cases. Ayuk's a head case. Debo's a head case.
Sky Moore's not a head case.
Yeah, Pearsall's not a head case that we know. Juwan Jennings is a head case. They're all head cases. But yes,
Jerry
I agree.
Wasn't.
George Pickens he's a diva, along with CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
CeeDee
You're
Lamb.
out there going to the casino, Saturday nights and coming in late to Sunday night games against the Bears. But George Pickens, not to say that we often discuss the liveliness of George Pickens out there in Dallas for obvious reasons, but I think Kyle would hate George Pickens. Like, I think there would be physical confrontations, not just like, Juwan's yelling at Kyle or, short skate. It would be like, no, they're throwing fisticuffs on the sideline. Like, do you want Jack Johnson and John Hurley right here? You're going to get some freaking hands because you don't go out there and do things right. He doesn't block, got an attitude. He wouldn't just be in the doghouse. He'd be locked away in the dog pound. They'd call animal control and say, take him away. We don't want him. Like, and to a point, I don't even think that Lombardi's reporting is accurate. I don't think they wanted Pickens because of those exact reasons why. You think Kyle Shanahan wanted George Pickens? Hell no. Hell no.
What about the report that they wanted Justin Jefferson?
No, that's not a report. They wanted him. Everybody wants him. It's like, hey, good
They
save.
want to give him.
Oh. Sterling's frozen.
That was a full-on froze.
Full on. Oh, he's gonna have to exit out more than likely. But
Bet you his internet
look,
just dropped.
there was a report that from Lombardi that George Pickens they wanted him. It's possible. I mean, I would imagine. Hey, we'll trade you our star receiver for your star receiver. That makes sense. I think that he's a playmaker. That would have helped the Niners, but it is what it is. I don't think that. I mean, would he have done good in the Niners? Probably. I don't know. And then there's even talk about, the Niners could trade for. Dude, what happened, man? I'm like over here trying to buy time for you.
I don't know. It was Brandon
Your
Ayuk.
internet just dropped, and you were doing
you left on a topic that I wasn't even that invested into, and I was like, well, anyway, George Pickens. I'm like,
you were doing like a Charles Barkley, like Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant.
That's terrible, man. That's terrible.
Dude, I'm not kidding. I was talking, and then it was like all the screens were black, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. And I got hacked. It's like, damn. Anyways, George Pickens.
Jim Everett the Great hacked your account.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it.
Joseph Ehrenberg's out there. The negativity brought the show down.
Papa J is trying to shut things down. He's like, no, Sterling. We don't want Pickens.
Dude, this comment saw to block it.
Ryan Hensley jumped into our room and tried to get us all kicked out.
Oh, my goodness, man.
But look,
anyways.
Yeah, Pickens is neither here nor there,
Did you guys see though? And the reason why I brought up George Pickens was because of the drama with Sherman.
Yeah, he's a little bitch. Okay. After what Sherman said, he called him out.
Why are these so soft? These players are
and his response, you can tell he wrote that. And he crafted it all night, all morning, and then said, "Okay, this is."
He had that on drafts. He had a draft of that,
and it was like, "Got him." Hell yeah. In reality, it's like, dude, you're backpedaling, you're defensive, and you're being a little bitch. It's like, that's one of those things where when he makes those comments about you, you just don't say shit. You just move forward and play hard next time. And
it's weird. Put it on the screen for you.
He wrote it like it was a poem. It was just like, why is it
Dear Hair Club for Men?
Yeah, why is it so narrow? I'm like, well, what are we doing here? Right? Like, you couldn't just write a paragraph, leech weirdo, and then. Not only that, but this guy, he writes like he talks. So
what's up with the Capitals? Is he like yelling, Richard Sherman? Like, what is the problem?
He texts like courage a cowardly dog. Just like, dude, like, what's happening?
Well, no, he writes like he talks. That's a clear sign of low intelligence.
CTE?
But this is a team game. LMAO. I'm not the only one on the team. Stop becoming an analyst and talking about one player when we play in a team's game. It's like, oh, so it's everyone's fault, not just yours. Okay, that's good. Divert blame to the rest of your team. Got it. Lots of shit has gone right. Has got to go right for explosive plays, and it's funny because I thought former players would know that such as Richard Ussy Ass Sherman, who BTW ain't without the Legion of Boom. We all remember San Francisco, brother. Well, he was all pro.
What are you talking about? He helped us get to a Super Bowl. What is he talking about?
He was a Pro Bowler and an All-Pro in the same year.
All he knows is that he didn't win a Super Bowl with the Niners, and he was hurt the other year. Yeah,
neither did George Pickens. The Niners beat George Pickens that year, or beat the Steelers that year.
And then he's like, much love, Ninja. Don't you know the game of football as a former player, not a Richard Riding fan analyst that act like double team is not a thing or certain bracket coverages don't exist. Knowing you played ball, which shows me you're a leech weirdo. Like, why would you?
There's more. Wait. There's more. I'll scroll up.
But even that, like, a leech weirdo, like, what? That's weird. That's what? Now Twitter, eat this up. Ha 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 ha. Clouded a world.
Does he
whatever that
makes him look good?
Understanding, man.
Clearly he doesn't. Like, it just. What is the point of taking a shot at somebody who is so more accomplished than you in your own field that would have locked you down every single snap he was in coverage against you in his prime and in your prime? Like, look, I don't play in the NFL. I never will. I'm a 29-year-old larger white dude that can't run very fast, nor can I hit very hard. That ain't my job. But like, what is this? Like, as a journalist, seeing this, as someone that went to college, has a BA in journalism, this is what you live for. When someone like exemplifies dumbassery like this, you're like, oh my God, headlines for days. And the Dallas media needs to ask him immediately, like, you went to college. Like, you have a degree.
No. He was at the college.
He
playing
attended
football.
college.
Yeah, he got a scholarship to play football, not for academics. So
it's like the Cardell Jones, where he's like, "Why do we have to go to school? We're here to play football." It's like, dude. But it just
Cardell Jones, jeez.
And also, like, why are you calling out an elite guy that's gonna be a future Hall of Famer?
Because
like,
he's stupid. This is
like,
low
dude.
intelligence.
Richard Sherman, right now, if anybody any Niners fan would agree, if the Niners could make one move to bring him in as a DB coach, you would have done that move yesterday. I mean, he's that accomplished in what he does. I have nothing but love for Richard Sherman, and I hated his guts during that whole Crabtree thing when he did after
the Legion of Boom days. I was
like, he was right. He was
Sherman.
right. My brother's like, you still hate him now? He was kind of. He was like, Crabtree actually sucked. I was like, no, you're 100% right.
Yeah, he did.
I was just sour because we, lost to them again.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just idiotic. It's stupid. It's immature. The way he responded to Richard Sherman. If it wasn't true, he wouldn't have taken it so personally. And if he was somebody who held himself accountable for his own actions, he would have said something like, "I need to play better. I am better, and I'll be a better leader for this team. I believe in our team that we can go far in the playoffs, and I'll prove that on Sunday." Instead of being like, "Yo, bitch ass, stupid, Richard Sherman."
Just ignore it.
Just ignore it.
Imagine George Pickens. Well, like, imagine George Pickens playing when Skip and Stephen A were on TV every single day. Like, and Skip's a Dallas Cowboy fan. Like, he would have ripped him to shreds every morning for 365 days a year. No days off. Christmas, Thanksgiving, Labor Day, Flag Day, Arbor Day. He's up your ass. He just really is.
PTI would have ripped him apart.
Well, then you have what what's his name said to the whole Juwan Jennings situation. You have Dante Whitner. Yeah, Dante Whitner got in on it about how the players trash talk.
I'm like, come on, dude. Calm the fuck down.
Like,
you know how many much worse things were said and done back in the old days in football?
Oh, and I was talking to Larry about this last night. It's like, did we all not go to high school? Did we all not have like a lunch table where like,
dude, I got
the
Yo
Mama jokes, like these obscene things you said? Like, I played baseball in high school. First base was never a fun base to be on because you're always talking mess to the guy next to you getting a lead. Like, the amount of things that came out of high school people's mouths were not for the faint of heart. And now these guys are in their 30s. It's like, I get it. You grow up, you want to be more kind and whatnot. I get that. You hopefully soften as you grow up and aren't as cruel as you once were in your youth. But it's like, come on, man.
We got an update.
Uh-oh.
Jesse Chavez will be joining the Giants coaching staff as a bullpen coach. So throw it out there.
Drake clearly does not care about the conversation at all.
Look, George Pickens is a fucking idiot. And he got called up by
Sherman. We've moved on.
Okay.
We're on Juwan Jennings now.
And Juwan Jennings, look, who cares? He's talking smack on the field. Who cares? It's just like, I'm sure a lot of weird stuff has happened. And on top of that, you got freaking guys like Gabe Wilkins grabbing dudes' junk, in the fucking piles. People do weird shit, man. It's the world we live in.
Now, see, Robbie, I completely agree with you. We got to bring bully back. I got bullied in high school, dude. I got made fun of for my red hair.
In high school, for sure.
I had pimples. I was tall and skinny with a big nose. I did.
I was small and skinny.
I was a bully in high school.
I was.
Were you really?
A little bit.
Bro, I weighed 100.
I wasn't like throwing dudes in trash cans and like lockers. No, I wasn't doing that stuff.
I was 135 pounds at like almost 6'3" in high school. I got bullied constantly.
You were 6'3"?
Why were you being bullied at 6'3"? You should be.
Because I weighed 135 pounds.
Height matters, man.
You're 6'3"?
Size matters.
I'm just about 6'3". I'm a smidge under.
Jesus, you're hella tall. How tall are you, Sterling? And now we're getting personal.
I'm 6'2".
You're 6'2"?
How tall are you, Dre? 5'11"?
I'm 5'7".
Oh, you're. I wasn't even going to say anything, but you brought it up. You shouldn't have brought it up.
Man,
sorry, I was born that way.
My dad was a big Irish man. I have an uncle who's like 6'6". So like, but no one's athletic in my family. That was the problem. I have wasted size. I was like an unathletic, slow white guy. Yeah.
Bunch of weeds out there.
That's all it was. Like, hey, can you play basketball? No. Can you tackle in football? No, I'm too skinny. Can you play baseball? No, I am not agile, hand-eye coordination. I was you. I should have been 5'6".
But your size wouldn't have came in handy in water polo out in California. You could have made big money out there playing water polo.
Cross country or volleyball probably would have been the sport that I wanted to play, but I was
volleyball, yeah, that's good.
So now at your more hefty size, Aaron, now you're just a large man.
I'm over 300 pounds. I'm a big boy.
And you're 6'3", so you're like Paul Bunyan.
I'm a huge dude. I'm a very large individual.
So what would your response be if Shelby Harris called you a hoe? Because Juwan Jennings didn't do anything about it.
No, and Juwan Jennings did exactly what you should do: laugh and move on. That's it.
Current Aaron in 2025, as opposed to Aaron when he's in high school, I'd slap him right in the freaking right across the side of his temple, as hard as I possibly could. I would knock his ass out. I would have hit him.
I'm the smallest guy here. I'm only 5'7". You guys are all above 6 feet. Jesus.
Oh man, jeez.
How
about let's get to a topic that the fans, more importantly, the fans and us.
You know what they say? Listen, Dre. Short. Just because you're short, sometimes big things come in small packages, so you never know.
Okay.
Now you're talking about my package. Here we go.
Okay. Jesus.
I'm
now
5'7".
your guys' Wi-Fi needs to go out so I can get the show back on track.
I'm 5'7", about 190.
Okay.
That's it. That's me.
Okay.
I'm not 300 pounds like Aaron.
The doctor tried to say
Sterling weighs.
The doctor tried to say I was like barely over 6'1". I went home after my doctor's appointment and remeasured my height. She didn't know how to read the scale. She didn't know the numbers. 12 plus 5 is 60. You add another 12, it's 72 inches. 6 foot, and then you add the nothing. She was like, you're 6 foot and 3/4 or something. I'm like, no, I'm not. Unless I drop 2 inches. I don't know. Weird.
The American education system.
Yeah.
Not great. Not great. Anyways.
It's weird though. Like, why do we not use meters like the rest of the world? We use feet.
Because we're better than them, Dre.
Because we're better. Because
when you win 2 world wars, you can do whatever you want.
Because you know what? Yards, feet, inches, those are the measurements that Jesus used. So let's move on.
Okay.
What would Jesus do?
Gosh. We went from the Wi-Fi going out to Juwan Jennings being called a hoe.
I blame this on you, Sterling. You're the one who threw the whole thing off. You had to freeze up.
It was Jim Everett in the comments. We know this.
You know what it is? It's your damn Time Warner cable down in Southern California.
It's not owned by Netflix.
I have Spectrum too. What are you trying to say? I have really good internet.
Spectrum is a full-on endorser of the Los Angeles Dodgers, mind you.
Hey, I live in Southern California right now. So
I don't follow baseball, so I don't care. I used to be a Yankees fan until I realized that was a complete waste of time.
Well, one thing that's not a complete waste of time is our next topic. That is ranking NFC playoff quarterbacks going from right now, the still somehow in the mix Dallas Cowboys, all the way up to the number 1 seeded Chicago Bears. Let's rank some QBs on the show today. And the reason why I want to do the exercise is simply because I think it will actually shock us and the fans at home just how good Brock Purdy might still be and where he ranks in this crop of quarterbacks. Okay, right now in the NFC, including last night's Dallas Cowboys loss and Detroit Lions win, the Cowboys are the number 10 seed and the Bears are the number 1 seed. So we have 10 quarterbacks we're going to rank today. Starting with number 10, we have Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys, Bryce Young, Jared Goff, Brock Purdy, Jordan Love, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Jalen Hurts, Matthew Stafford and Caleb Williams. I'll bring the teams up on the screen for us. But Aaron, what do you think about those teams, and who do you think is the worst quarterback currently in the NFC playoff picture?
Caleb Williams.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't believe in Caleb Williams at all.
That's crazy. Both you think Caleb's the worst quarterback remaining in the NFC playoff picture?
Actually, I don't think he's the worst. I just want to pile on and say I don't believe in Caleb Williams whatsoever.
I don't either.
I think the worst quarterback in the NFC, you say?
The NFC playoff picture, 1 through 10.
Oof.
So this playoff bracket you see,
okay.
I'll zoom in here for you guys. 1 through 10. So Bears all the way to Dallas.
The Bears all the way to Dallas?
Yes.
Oh, the worst quarterback's Bryce Young. It'd be a toss-up. The bottom three for me in no specific order.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Hey, chill.
The bottom three for me would be, like I said, in no specific order would be Bryce Young. Where is he? Bryce Young, Sam Darnold, Caleb Williams, and to top it off, Jalen Hurts, because they all suck.
Okay, I think
I can go with that. No, I agree with that in no particular order.
That's like the shitbox bunch.
Yep.
Okay.
Bryce Young, Caleb Williams.
Starting with number 10, I think we can all agree Bryce Young is the worst quarterback still in the NFC playoff picture, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 9, yes, he's very small. He makes bad decisions. He's just not great. Although pretty clutch on fourth downs against the Rams. It's one game, and quite frankly, the offense is stuck in the mud because of him a lot of the times. Okay. The number 9 ranked quarterback remaining in the NFC playoff picture, Dre, who do you think it is?
Sam Darnold. Well, okay. I'm debating between the guys I just listed. It's probably Sam Darnold only because, like we talked about last night, he is Jimmy Garoppolo 2.0. He's got a better arm than Jimmy. He's a better quarterback than Jimmy, but he has that stigma of, is he really going to get you over the top? Can he really lead you to a Super Bowl? And every game that he will play in the playoffs, or if they make it to the Super Bowl, will be make Sam Darnold have to beat you. And that's something that he has not been able to do his entire career.
Aaron?
This is going to piss a lot of people off, but I'm going to go Purdy. And it has nothing to do with the past. It has everything to do. It has everything to do. Listen, I'm going based on right now, this current version of Brock Purdy.
Right.
There's a lot of quarterbacks I'd pick in front of him, mainly because he's not 100% healthy. He hasn't really proven that he can consistently push the ball downfield yet. And, he's shown a propensity, at least the first couple games back, that he has the propensity to throw a lot of interceptions, that he likes to push the ball where it shouldn't be. If you asked me this 2 years ago, he would have been top 3 for me, behind probably Mahomes and I don't know, some other quarterback. But I'm just going based on right now. If you ask me right now, in 4 weeks, that could be completely different. I don't have a ton of belief in him right now.
Okay, so Brock Purdy. That's
number 9.
Well,
yeah.
Okay, so I was going to say, do we, I think you have to collectively, take everything into account of, playoff success, Sam Darnold's big knock is he's having a heck of a season. Right now, he's a better quarterback than Brock Purdy is, but, pumpkin time's coming. Is he going to be pumpkin or going to grow into whatever pumpkins turn into after, I don't know, words are hard, analogies are dumb. But, where does Jalen Hurts fit into this? Jared Goff is still in here. You could argue that Purdy's projection, because he's known to win in playoffs and he's one loss, is better than 95% of the guys on the list ahead of him. That doesn't seem too crazy to think, right?
But I'm not really basing anything off the past. I'm basing it all off of this year and what I've seen.
Okay.
Because in any other time, I would rank Love below him,
Okay.
Or, after, or, he would be number 11 or whatever, number 10. Same thing with, I'm trying to think of the other quarterback you just mentioned. Jordan
Jalen
Love,
Hurts, Caleb
Jalen
Williams,
Hurts.
Jared
Yeah,
Goff.
like Jalen Hurts. I mean, if you would ask me this last postseason, well, actually, no, he wasn't.
Well,
he was good in the
here.
Super Bowl.
I'll ask you this point blank. Would you take Caleb Williams over Brock Purdy right now?
No.
So then wouldn't Caleb be the number 9 quarterback?
Just walked into that one. All right, look. Let's move
That's
on.
my point. Is like
Fair point.
Okay.
Fair point.
Okay,
so like,
who are you taking, Sterling? Number 9.
I think it's Caleb Williams. Okay. So
I was
we
just
put
confused about who was ranked behind him. That's
Okay,
my problem.
let's go to number 8.
Okay. So number 8 of the remaining quarterbacks, which it seems like we're all on board with Caleb, maybe Purdy for Aaron. Number 8, you have Jared Goff, Jordan Love, Sam Darnold. You have Baker Mayfield, Jalen Hurts, Matthew Stafford, Dak Prescott.
Who's going?
Aaron?
Who's up? Oh, okay.
Aaron. Aaron?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Okay.
I can't believe I'm going to rank
This
him in front.
entire topic is a disaster.
I know. This is not
Because
rapid fire.
I need to have a list of who's already
The
been
teams
taken.
are
They're
right there
in front of you.
on your screen.
Here, I'll go next. I'll go next.
Together.
You
Team
think about it.
quarterback.
I'll go next. I said Bryce Young. Number 9 was Sam Darnold. Number 8, for me at least, is going to have to be, what's his face? Caleb Williams. Because he hasn't proven anything. I don't know what he'll do in the playoffs because already this season he hasn't shown me a lot.
Okay. Aaron, what do you think?
Jared Goff.
Okay.
Sterling, what do you got?
I think I'd put Jared Goff here as well.
Okay.
Let's go to number 7.
Because remember, I already dropped Sam Darnold, so.
Yes. Right now we have Bryce Young being the collective worst quarterback. Then Dre said Darnold. I said Williams. Aaron said Purdy for 9. And then for 8, Dre had Caleb Williams. And then me and Aaron agreed on Jared Goff. Number 7. I will start here. And I think Dak Prescott belongs at number 7. Having a heck of a season, MVP caliber. It might win it. Dallas probably has to win some more games, but other quarterbacks on the board still. Dak, to me, just freezes in the playoffs and doesn't really put it together. I'd put Dak here amongst the other quarterbacks still remaining.
Same.
I would go with Jared Goff. Goff still hasn't proven that he can get his team over the top. He got the Rams to the Super Bowl, didn't do anything in the Super Bowl, and cost them that game. When we saw him lay an egg last year in the playoffs, we saw him lay an egg against the Niners. So my vote is for Jared Goff.
Okay, number 6. Of the quarterbacks remaining, Matthew Stafford, Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, and to many of us, Brock Purdy, Jordan Love, Sam Darnold. Who would you have at number 6, Dre?
At number 6, I'm going to go with Dak Prescott because he's having a good season this year, but he is always been known to shit the bed when it comes to playoff games and high pressure games. Look at last night. That was a big game. And I'm not going to blame Dak Prescott, but they still lost. So my vote goes for Dak Prescott.
Aaron?
He's like, same.
No. I was going to go with Eagles quarterback.
Jalen Hurts.
His name?
Jalen Hurts. That's who I'd go with too. I think Jalen Hurts is terrible. I think he's terrible.
Okay.
Okay. So number 5. Who, Aaron, do you think is the number 5 remaining quarterback?
Give me who's remaining real quick.
Well, it depends. For you and myself, it's Stafford, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Jordan Love.
Sam Darnold.
Okay. Dre, what do you think?
Number 5, I'm going with Brock Purdy. Brock's a good quarterback, but the other guys ahead of him, they just have more natural talents, physically, that is. So I'm going to go with Brock Purdy, number 5.
I think I'd agree with Aaron. I'd put Darnold here at my number 5 spot.
Fuck Darnold.
Number 4. Number 4. There's just too many concerns. Maybe I'm wrong, but there's just too many concerns. Okay, number 4. I am going to put Baker Mayfield here at number 4. I think if he gets really hot, he's really dangerous. But if he gets really cold, then that team is very, very, very beatable. But I think his ceiling is much higher than guys like Darnold, Prescott, Hurts, Goff, Williams, and the rest of the guys right now. So I'd put Mayfield here.
Same.
Okay.
Dre? Mayfield showing, I'll tell you, someone with a second half career resurgence that he has, I have nothing but respect for him.
Okay, so number 4, I'm going to go with, for me, it's Jalen Hurts, because he's not been good this year. But again, we've seen him in the Super Bowl play at a high elite level.
He did.
Against
He looked
the
amazing.
Chiefs.
He looked
amazing.
And
because of that, I'm putting him at number 4, because if he shows that side of himself in the playoffs, then they're going to find a ton of success. So I'm going to go Jalen Hurts.
Okay. Number 3, I'm going to put Jordan Love here. I really, really, really love Jordan Love, ironically. I think Jordan Love's a heck of a quarterback. I think that he gets so much hate because of some mistakes he makes that get go viral on social media. But I think what he's done the last couple of weeks, I think, has definitely pushed him upwards in the quarterback rankings, in my opinion, above guys like Goff and Prescott and Darnold and Mayfield and guys like that. While it has to be seen come playoff time, I think Jordan Love has the intangibles to be a heck of a great quarterback. That doesn't make any sense, but a heck of a quarterback this season in the playoffs.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way.
Yep, Jordan Love.
He's got the prerequisite tools.
Okay. We have about a couple quarterbacks remaining depending on how you voted. But number 2, I think we all probably have the same number 1. He plays in LA. I think it's pretty obvious. Matthew Stafford's probably the number 1 quarterback we all have.
Yeah.
Unless Aaron has a different opinion on that.
He's like Brock Purdy.
I'm going to go and say Brock Purdy number 2.
Wow.
I think Brock Purdy is more proven in the playoffs. And I get there's injury concerns, the toe. I just think that Brock, his ceiling to me, you saw it against the number 2 ranked defense in football. And I don't like being a homer. I really don't, because I don't think this team is a Super Bowl contender. But I do think that Brock can outduel every quarterback on this list besides one of them, and it's Matthew Stafford. And I believe in that. And I think if you asked me, if you needed a quarterback on this list to drop back 35 times a game, I'm taking Matthew, obviously number 1. But I think I'd take Purdy over guys like Prescott, Young, Goff, Love, Darnold, Mayfield, and Hurts, and Williams. And I don't think that's that far-fetched, quite honestly.
I don't even know who my number 2 is.
I know who my number 2 is.
Oh, Lord. I know who my number 1 is.
I think we all know who our number 1 is.
He's just so damn good.
I mean, Brock is really good, but I mean, for me, at least number 2 will be Baker Mayfield. And the reason why is because I need a guy who I can give the ball to and say, go get it done. And he's going to have that moxie of being like, get on my back. We're going to fucking score a touchdown right now. And he's going to get it done. And dude, Baker, he throws with such high accuracy. And the guy is incredibly talented. He's playing great. And so I would go Baker Mayfield. And then my number 1 obviously would be Matthew Stafford because of how good he is. And look, I saw Papa J was like, you seriously think that Jalen Hurts is better than Brock?
No, Jordan Love.
Oh, well, I think Jordan Love has more natural talents than Brock Purdy. I think that Jordan Love can do more extraordinary physical things that Brock can't. But I think Brock is a better processor of the game, and Brock makes better decisions than Jordan Love. But when it comes to Jalen Hurts, the reason why I have Jalen Hurts ahead of Brock Purdy is because Jalen Hurts won the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts beat the Kansas City Chiefs decidedly. They annihilated them. And so because of that, he gets 1 spot ahead of Brock. Otherwise, I would have moved Brock up a little bit, but Jalen Hurts did that last year. If you could do it again, then it's going to be good things for the Eagles. So
I think Aaron's number 2 is Jalen Hurts. By default.
You hadn't picked him yet.
Yeah, I think by default it was Jalen Hurts. I mean, dude, look at his.
Don't look at
his performance. His Super Bowl
look at his
was
numbers.
Incredible. No, his Super Bowl performance was incredible,
yeah.
and like.
But I thought you were just talking about now. That was your big thing of your big knock on Brock, which was probably fine.
I think Aaron kind of lost track of the quarterbacks.
I lost track of the list. That's my problem. I apologize for that.
Well, there you have it, folks.
Somebody told us that we suck. No, it's just me, guys. It's just me. It's just me. I needed to write down all
these guys are idiots. Thank you.
I needed to write down the quarterbacks on a piece of paper so that I could on this.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, Sam.
Yeah, like and subscribe because we got
a
lot more where that came from.
Don't go to 49ers first takes. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Okay, so collectively, tell me if I'm wrong here. I have the list in front of me on my notes. Our number 1 quarterback is Matthew Stafford.
Yeah,
we can all agree.
Without a shadow of a doubt, he's that good.
Yeah, he's probably going to win the MVP this year. Dre, you had Baker Mayfield number 2. I had Brock Purdy number 2. Aaron, you had Jalen Hurts number 2. we all think Jordan Love was number 3. Dre had Hurts at number 4. Me and Aaron had Mayfield at number 4. Dre had Purdy at 5, and we had Darnold at 6. Or excuse me, we had Darnold at 5. Then Dre had Prescott at number 6, and I had Hurts at number 6. I think that Aaron had Goff at 6, and then so on and so forth on the list. But it's kind of crazy that Aaron thinks Brock is the second worst quarterback remaining in the playoff picture. Dre has him kind of in the middle, and I have him towards the top, which I think it goes into why, or maybe our beliefs in how far the team can go. But like I'll ask you guys this now. We're in the bye week, and we'll end on this. Season ends. What is their record when it's all said and done? What do you have, Dre?
12-5.
So you have them winning 3 more games.
Yeah.
What do you think?
11-6. I think they go 2-2.
Okay. I think 11-6 is
2.
pretty fair. Which I think if they go 11-6 or even 12-5, that to me is surpassing expectations.
Papa J is just ripping into us now, Aaron.
And Aaron, with your rankings, you couldn't even beat Technical. I was actually pretty good with Technical. I
always chose the Chicago Bears of Walter Payton.
I chose the 49ers, man. Right, Montana to
Bo
right.
Jackson.
Bo Jackson was a phenom in that game. Oh my god!
But so could we agree that San Francisco thus far has exceeded the expectations we had for them?
Absolutely. The biggest thing holding them up is that can their defense hold up against a more elite offenses? We don't know. That's the big unknown.
Based on the bag of goods that John and Kyle were trying to prove, without even saying it, they were kind of giving us this is a reset year, and it was that's pretty much what it was, and expectations. They didn't have to say it, but expectations were definitely, at least from fans and myself, and the way that they kind of position things, not going to be as high as in previous years. And whatever the Niners did to outperform themselves would be a bonus. And that made sense when, you looked at the roster, the way it was currently constructed in the beginning of the season before people got hurt. But the fact that they've still been able to hold to that based on the injuries is even more ridiculous.
Okay.
And it makes you more sad that they don't have those players healthy, because I think in a way, John and Kyle almost they didn't believe in us. They should have believed in us more based on what we've been able to do with the players that we have right now. So I don't know.
How good of a job? Let me ask both of you guys this question. What would our record be if we still had Bosa, Warner, and Michael Williams?
I think it could be the same, but it would look different. You know what I mean? The optics, the defensive optics. I think maybe we don't get completely crushed by the Rams. Maybe instead of it being 40 whatever, maybe it was a closer game. Maybe they only score 30 points, 28 points.
Casual
maybe,
fans like undefeated.
I don't think so. They don't have enough depth for that to happen.
Hell yeah. I say 10-3.
That gains you one more win.
At least one more win, because I think we would have beaten the Houston Texans. I think we win that game. And if we had all of our stars, if we had Nick Bosa, maybe we beat the Jaguars, but Brock Purdy was still hurt. So I don't know if that's going to make the difference or not, having Nick Bosa out there. So with me, at least they're going to get at least one more win and be 10-3, which is still really good.
I don't think their record would have changed so far, but I think it would change by the end of the season. I think they will beat the Colts, and I think they will beat the Bears. I think they're going to lose to Seattle, though. I really do. I think they'll end the year on a low note, but they'll finish, with 11 wins or 12 wins when it's all said and done. And quite frankly, you win 10 games and you have a 2-game lead against the Lions and a 4-game lead against the Cowboys by the end of next weekend. It's like, okay, you're probably going to the playoffs.
Who's and they also depth back to life. He's like, we have enough depth. What are you talking about? Who's talking about that?
I said that we didn't have a ton of depth going, and Sterling agreed with me that our depth was pretty weak this year, but we couldn't really lose anybody. You know what I mean? On the defensive line, like Bosa, we were like, we're good as long as we don't lose anybody, because we've had deeper teams.
Unproven depth. They had a lot of bodies.
They might now, and they've proven, but going into the season, we didn't know that. We had no idea.
If they would have had Keon White and Cleveland Farrell to start the season, that's a little different.
Yeah, the fact that we had to bring
deeper.
They didn't need those guys.
They didn't need them. But I'm saying, let's say you had them on there already. You had Keon White already. Then you're adding more depth. But instead, you're going with your depth was C.J. West, Alfred Collins, Michael Williams, all unproven, all draft picks.
I still think they were light on the pass rush side of things. I still thought they were one player short. If they got to midseason this year and they were healthy, I still think they could have made a move for an edge rusher. Jalen Phillips would have made perfect sense.
Well, I think at that point, Keon White's the guy you get. And that's the move. Let's end the show. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're right. That's fine.
Let's end the show with giving me a percentage total as to what you think the Niners, or how the probability of the Niners going to the Super Bowl. Not winning it, just give me a percentage you're giving for the Niners to have a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Dre, what's your percentage?
70%.
70% to go to the Super Bowl? That's really high. That's
and the
really
reason
high.
why is because of the experience they have. A lot of these guys have been there before. A lot of these guys know how to play in the playoffs. They know what it takes.
Yep. As a 7 seed, we could shock people. The Niners were a 7 seed, but they still won. Yeah, because they haven't done.
And that's the thing too, is that if it's the fourth quarter and Brock's got to get us on the field to get us in field goal range, Brock's got to get us on the field to score a touchdown to make it a 4-point lead or a 6-point lead. They're the kind of guys. They're the kind of team that will put together a drive, eat up a lot of clock, get down the field and score, because they have Christian McCaffrey, they have George Kittle, they have Juwan Jennings. They have guys that have been there before, and I don't think the moment will be too big for them. And so that is a difference maker compared to other teams where guys who are playing on these other teams have never been there before. Guys have never got it done. Even guys like Jair Brown, he's been in the Super Bowl. He's intercepted Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Demo Lenore, Mustafa. I think the experience is what is favoring the 49ers going into the postseason.
Aaron?
I'm going to say 45%. And the only reason I go that low is because of the defense and who they're missing. They don't have a closer as a pass rusher. They don't have a playmaker in the linebacking core that is going to get you a fumble recovery, forced fumble recovery, or a interception return, like something like Fred Warner could do. Offensively, my questions are just, can the arrow keep going up? And that's my worry with this the offensive part of the answer is just like, they have the requisite pieces right now healthy to win a Super. They have enough talent to win a Super Bowl offensively. I think so. Purdy, Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, whatever. Like they have enough. I think they have enough. There's teams that have done more with less. So, but with Brock, I just don't know what he is right now. I want to see him. He doesn't. The foot still doesn't look. And he says it's not a problem, and I try to believe him, but like, I don't know. Just between Brock's kind of my question mark for Brock or what he is, and the defense not lacking kind of some closers. 45% is as high as I would go. I would never go above 50%. It wouldn't happen.
Yeah, I think I'll give the Niners a 40% chance to go to the Super Bowl. Obviously, depends on the route they have. 40% chance. It's all about who you play, all about when you play them.
Yep.
Momentum's a big thing. I think if the Niners can somehow climb at least up to the 5th seed, going on the road and playing Carolina or Tampa Bay, round 1 would be great.
Have somebody go beat the Rams for you in the divisional round.
Right. It's like, the Niners, I think, can hang with anybody. Even that Rams game, they outscored LA in that from second quarter on. They really did, which is crazy to say. Like, you just got to avoid the big start they can have. And I think, you get healthier and you get Brock back and things will change. It took a lot. Like that, it was an ugly beginning to that Rams game for the Niners. But I'd say 40% chance. Dre said 70% chance, and Aaron said 45% chance. Dre, I hope you're right. Everybody in the comments, thank you for watching.
Wait, real quick. I just gotta get this out there.
I swear to God, this is some random Giants.
It's not
coaching edition.
No, it's not. Tony Vitello. No, it's not. But what it is how confident are you guys? Because I'm very confident in this. How confident are you guys? Everyone in the chat, if you're still listening, I want to know, how confident are you that Fred Warner can come back during the postseason? Percentage-wise. Aaron says 0.
I'll say 20%.
I'm saying 50.
He just said 0 immediately. Just F it. It's not going to work.
If you're going to go off of what Kyle Shanahan says, then you're probably still believing that Brandon Ayuk's going to show up and start playing receiver for the 49ers again. He's not.
Like John Lynch said, we're hopeful, and that's all we can be is hopeful. For John Lynch to Brandon Ayuk to return, maybe not so, but for Fred Warner to come back, wouldn't that be awesome?
Back to life says 75% broski.
Hey, you never know. Crazier things have happened, but we are hopeful.
I'm saying this right now. If we make it to the divisional round, I think he comes back. He's going to come back.
We'll see.
And will he be the starter? No, but I think he'll be a rotational piece.
No. If Fred comes back, he's starting.
Well, he's starting, but I think he'll be on, like, they'll be rotating him in and out.
See you, Nick Martin.
Good luck trying Fred Warner off the field in a playoff game. Good luck.
Yeah.
But we are hopeful. We're hopeful.
But the Niners have to have, like, the right path to get to the Super Bowl. Like, they'd have to go up against, like, the Chicago Bears in the first round where they're unproven. They beat them. And then they have to go up against, like, Green Bay or Tampa Bay. Like the cards have to fall just right for San Francisco.
And the Niners get the Rams in their first game in the playoffs. It's over with. Actually, they wouldn't, because they'd have the bye. Technically, if we're thinking they're still going to have.
Don't forget, Aaron. I predicted Niners go 10-7 and they beat the Rams in round number 1 at SoFi.
See, if my season
back in the preseason.
What was our predictions? I'm pretty close. I think
you said 12-5. I said 10-7, and you had them losing in the first round.
Do you remember what I had?
You had them going 0-17.
No, I had them. I think it was 13-4.
Hey, it's on the table. It's all on the table right now.
Because I was imagining Fred Warner and Nick Bosa running around and a trade target of the trade deadline.
With an easy schedule.
You know it's too good. Yeah. You know it's too good. They're never going to be fully healthy. But again, the bye week brings so many great opportunities, have these conversations, and dive into so much. And hopefully San Francisco can get healthy, at least getting Yetur Gross-Matos, Samuel Kawanu, and maybe even Fred Warner back if they can take a deep playoff run in the month of January. But don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to all three channels. Gray Area Sports down below. To my left is 49ers First Takes. Then, of course, this is 49ers Access. Thank you all for listening, watching, liking, and hopefully subscribing to all three of our channels. This has been the Cover 3 podcast. For Aaron, for Dre, my name is Sterling Bennett. And as always, until next time, stay faithful.